Greetings, salutations to Safe to Serve International and first-time viewers. Welcome to this midday power surge. I'm your host, Andrew Henriquez, on this preparation day. I want to state my theme before we go any further, so every one of us is on the same page. There's no confusion, no ambiguity. The contents are startling, to say the least. Number one, I want to say this. CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency, is actually the money of the beast, with the acronym MOB, Money of the Beast. That is the CBDC. It's going to lead to slavery, money of the beast, merchants of the beast. When you consider 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10, where the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Kindly underscore the word root. Since the love of money is the root of all evil, then what is the fruit? The fruit is false worship with persecution for dissenters. And that false worship is called the mark of the beast. So from money of the beast, as you can see, to the mark of the beast, with the acronym again, MOB. And the mother of the beast is popery. We see this clearly in Matthew chapter 4, verse 8 through verse 10. When Satan said to Christ, using money of the beast with the principle of the mark of the beast false worship. Are we together? Satan said to Christ in Matthew 4, verse 8 through verse 10, look at the kingdoms, the glory of them. All these will I give unto you if you fall down and worship me. False worship. Do you see it? Satan had control of all the assets in the world. So what will the tyrants, human tyrants of Satan do in the last days? Same thing. Does it make sense so far? And notice, Satan said to Christ, in order to have access, operative word, to these things, fall down and worship me. That's very similar to Revelation 13, verse 15 through verse 17. You won't be able to buy or sell, no access. You won't be able to buy or sell except you worship falsely. That's the mark of the beast. Does it make sense so far? Watch this. So the great question is, how will Satan, through his human scoundrels, the globalists, the Jesuits, how will they enact the CBDC, the money of the beast? That will lead to slavery. How will they do it? I'm going to list a few things. This list is not comprehensive. It's simply going to address the points in this presentation. I want to talk with you today. Is that okay? Number one, they are going to create great fears in society. Fear. It could be based on combating climate change. Great fear, whatever, great fear. Another pestilence pandemic. And people are going to be impoverished. And the tyrants, the globalists will step in and say, in order for you to receive the benefits from the government, in order for you to receive the conveniences of life, we will roll out the CBDC. Secondly, what about a cyber attack? A cyber attack that would decimate the U.S. infrastructure. Remember, the love of money. Decimate the banking infrastructure in America. And then they stand up and say, it's time to roll out the CBDC to protect us from a cyber attack. Then why did you make the banking infrastructure all digital? Makes no sense. They manufacture the crises, then roll out their so-called solution. Next, what about a digital pandemic? Oh, this worm. Oh, this hacker. And they blame everything and anybody else except themselves. Number 4, what about bank failures? What do I mean by that? A great economic meltdown. People lose access to money. Why? The local banking centers are now closing. I'll get to that. They're closing local banking centers. And the ones which are open hardly have enough tellers behind the counter to deal with the customers. Long lines, long queues drive everyone to digital only banking. Okay? That is an economic crisis. Lastly, what about to stop a bank run? A great economic crisis. And people run to their banking centers, local branches. I want to withdraw my money. Bank run. To stop a bank run, we will roll out the CBDC. I'll get to that. Ready now, my friends? Beloved, they only have 2024, they only have approximately 6 years to get this accomplished. Look what this says here. Watch.
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
And then we're looking at the coming new global order within the next 7 years from 2023, which would bring us to the year 2030. And we're told that they're moving at rapid pace. Do you remember a statement in Testimonies for the Church, Volume 9 and page 11, which says that the final movements are going to be rapid. Yes, rapid ones. We're now seeing it. Now, with all those points I just laid out, crises that will cause them to implement the money of the beast, CBDC, do you see any light in what happened yesterday? With the massive nationwide cell phone outage? Remember, many people only have access to online-only banking through their what? Their cell phone. Stay tuned. You'll see how important this is. God is attempting to awaken us. Well, the major agencies in America are saying publicly, we're doing our investigation because we want to find out what happened yesterday with a massive nationwide cell phone outage. Was it technical malfunction? A hack? Or was it a cyber attack? Watch this.
We do have an update for you, some breaking news that we've been following today. Sources tell ABC News the FBI and Department of Homeland Security are investigating the cause of a massive nationwide cell phone outage. Officials are working to determine if the service disruption is the result of a cyber attack, a hack, or simply a technical malfunction.
You see, friends, it doesn't matter what it is. They always try to blame this or that and not blame themselves. But what I want you to see, we're now seeing what could have been. We're seeing what should have been a great crisis. And God is saying, my people are unprepared still. I'm going to hold back the winds of destruction so that my people may have another moment of respite. To get ready, it's time, my friends, to implement the 5 keys of survival. Those of you in the chat, like Catherine Welsh, who just posted, Pastor, they are testing the waters. I agree with that. Here is Marco Rubio. Hear what he says. Cell phone outages will be 100 times worse. Imagine 100 times worse when the Panda Nation invades Taiwan. Warns, yes, friends, he's warning as FBI investigates where huge AT&T outage was a hack, a cyber attack, 100 times worse. All right. Now we have the Pope, the Jesuits, Klaus Schwab, actually stating a massive cyber attack is coming. Watch this. There it is. The future is built by us.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us.
Yes, the Pope, they're all saying the same thing, on the same bandwagon. And what does the Pope want? He wants a new economic order. It's right there. NWO, a new economic world order. That's what he's promoting, which will lead to slavery. And they will use the money of the beast, CBDC. And to get that, they will roll out a cyber pandemic worse, 100 times worse than the pestilence 19 pandemic. That's what they say. How do they know that? Because they are manufacturing it. Watch this.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
So what are they calling for? A major cyber attack? Listen to me attentively. Back in the day, I've watched a lot of forensic files, that so-called reenactment of crimes perpetuated on individuals. I know how to make comparisons. Watch this. If person A threatens to hurt and even to kill person B, and all of a sudden, person B dies. Friends, the investigators will view person A as a primary suspect, perpetrator. Does that make sense? And the investigators will begin to look at the evidences and they will ask several questions. Does person A have the capability to commit this crime? Does person A have the motive to commit this crime? And what do the forensic evidences show? Well, friends, since we are now seeing what they have been promulgating, where are we to look? Where are we to look? Don't stop at Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab is under the Jesuits, the Black Pope, the general of the Jesuits, and Pope Francis. That's where the buck stops. That's chapter 18 of Revelation. Verse 2 and verse 3, the merchants are made rich by them. Watch this. I just mentioned, do they have the motive? What is their objective? Watch this. Have you ever heard of the Great Reset? It's right there on the screen. The words to my right, your right. The Great Reset, which will lead to economic slavery. And who has been the backbone of slavery? The Pope of Rome, Jesuits. Revelation 18 again, verse 2, all the way through verse 13. They want to enslave the masses. And what will they use? The love of money is the root of all evil. CBDC, this was stated at World Government Summit for the WEF, Klaus Schwab. CBDC is coming.
And it's not about the U.S. versus China. It's about what underpins a world order is always the financial system.
Always what? The financial system underpins. The love of money is the root. So what's the fruit? What's the apex? Mark of the beast. Sunday worship by law with persecution.
I think as we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money.
I wonder why. Because the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, is going to trample underfoot our liberties here in America and around the world. Does that make sense? And that's why Klaus Schwab made this statement.
Dans ce nouveau monde,
In the New World Order, accept transparency.
Je dirais même une transparence totale.
Yes.
Le secret bancaire.
No more secrecy in your banking.
Transparent.
Nothing hidden.
Et il faut s'habituer, il faut se comporter.
You must behave according to our
comment dirais-je,
motive
dans
and
votre
plans.
personnalité, mais si on n'a rien à cacher, il ne faut pas avoir peur.
And if you have nothing to hide, don't be afraid. Dynamiter123 in the chat writes, he who controls the money controls the world. The love of money is the root of all evil. Cyberattack destroys the economy. You no longer have access to digital banking and digital payments and receiving of funds digitally. Oh, my friends, do you remember the movie Leave the World Behind? Do you remember that? What was stated? Watch this. I'm going to share with you right now how important it is for us to understand the danger of mobile banking, the danger of digital-only banking, where you have no choice in the matter. They're driving you to one option. Watch carefully. I'm going to state a poll question right now. A poll question right now. And here is the poll question. Ready for this? It says, approximately how many Americans use digital banking, mobile banking as of 2023? How many? How many? You have four options. Option A, approximately 25%. Option B, approximately 50%. Option C, approximately 75%. And option D, approximately 90%. Again, how many Americans use digital banking, mobile banking as of 2023? Four options. Please put the answer right there in the poll question section, not in the chat. Thank you so much. Let's move on. My friends, will a CBDC, will a cyber attack negatively impact the banking infrastructure? Will it? All right. Remember, my opening thesis is now being confirmed. Watch carefully.
For hack attacks on several U.S. airports and at least one major bank.
You see? Don't get lost in the wording. Who they're blaming. The point is, would a cyber attack negatively affect the banking system, destroy the banking structure as we know it today? That's the question. Clip 2. Watch this.
Stock trading in London has been plunged into chaos, and this is after reports of a Russia-backed ransomware gang attacking of a company that plays a key role in Britain's financial system.
You see the point? Do I need to restate my thesis? How are they going to roll out the CBDC? Watch carefully. There it is now. Leave the world behind. We all know it's a movie, predictive programming. Was there a cyber attack in the movie? Watch this.
We are seeing ongoing cyber attacks across the country.
All I'm doing is showing you what happened yesterday, what could have been, what should have been, but God is saying, I'm going to give you a moment of respite. Get ready. Clip 2. In this scene, why is the man on the left holding his wallet? He actually said, Venmo is down. PayPal is not working. Apple Pay is not working. All form of digital payment was canceled, shut down. Why? A cyber attack. Imagine that. What could have happened yesterday? What should have happened yesterday? We could have awakened from sleep yesterday and find ourselves on the precipice of the CBDC and the mark of the beast. And today's Friday, it's preparation day. And what does the movie say? The 3 steps, 3 stages to overthrow a government. And what are we told are the tools of the new world order? Number 1, it states digital ID. Number 2, a bank account with a smartphone, which means digital banking only. New world order. Here it is.
See, I think if you think what are the tools of the new world, everybody should have a digital ID, everybody should have a bank account, everybody should have a smartphone.
Okay.
Then anything can be done. Everything else is built on that.
Because
All
we
right.
were talking about this before we came onto the panel, the 3 basic things.
Enough. Let's get now to the poll. I gave you enough time to give your answer. And the poll preacher, approximately how many Americans use digital banking, mobile banking as of 2023? Mr. Producer, what is the result here? So we have 48% chose option D, approximately 90%. That answer is incorrect. We're not there yet. But that's their goal. We are not there yet, but we're on that path. Let's move on. 42% chose option C, approximately 75%. Gentlemen and ladies, my friends, that is the correct answer. Look at the confirmation right here. This is Forbes, January 31st, 2024. Watch carefully. Thank you. Wonderful. U.S. Consumer Banking Statistics 2024. Which methods do consumers use to access their bank accounts? 45% use mobile banking, apps on smartphone, apps on their tablet. 27% chose the internet, online, laptop, or PC. 27. If you add 27% to 45%, you get how much? You get 72%. My friends, look at that right there. We're on that path. Local branches, only 14%. So imagine how many people, let me drive it home. So how many people would have been affected if that outage yesterday continued for days, weeks, and months? How many? What would have happened to your access to banking, money, and receiving? What would have happened? Think. And they could have said, now it's time to roll out the money of the beast and lead us into the mark of the beast. You see my point? It's real. Let me give you a second witness. It's right there. Bank rate. It's right there, friends. Key statistics on banking digitally. January 12, 2024. Words in the red box. A significant majority of consumers, 71%, prefer to manage their bank accounts through a mobile app or a computer. Imagine that. And here now is Exhibit A, as if I'm in the courts. How may we be certain that CBDC, money of the beast, can be rolled out in light of a cyber attack on the banking infrastructure. An outage, EMP strike. Watch this. Clip 1.
If the government wants to implement something, and this is a pattern that's happened throughout history, but typically if governments want to implement something in which they go, hey, we're here to help, right? We're going to, Ronald Reagan said the infamous, right? The 9 most dangerous words is we are from the government and we're here to help, right?
Yeah. And we're what? Here are the words for yourself. Listen.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Watch this now.
I foresee something tragic happening. I see, again, a technological pandemic.
Yes.
Where it's going to
cyber attack.
A cyber attack,
tech
right?
pandemic.
Like, in fact, if you look at some of the documentations actually released by the U.S. government, right, especially ones that pertain to a development of a CBDC, they say the purpose of a CBDC is to protect the American people against cyber terrorism, against crimes, and also against major constituencies in technological breakdown. So,
hey, Mr. Producers, jump on YouTube and give me the Kwak Brothers and tell me how many subscribers they have to their page there. It's clear. And these brothers are very influential. They are seeing what's coming. What about God's people? Nadi in the chat writes, we are running out of time. I agree with that. Renee writes, with the flick of a switch, they can leave you penniless without a penny. I agree. I've shared that article several times. Let's move on. How many? 350,000 subscribers. Scroll down. Let me see something. Scroll down. Let me see their viewership. Look at influential. Let's move on.
Name it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a scenario where there's a virus, a tech virus, that attacks your mobile phones, logs into your bank account, and then siphons your money away. Jeez. Now, imagine the aftermath is the government might come out, the Federal Reserve might come out, or big banking associations may come out and say, hey, we understand that millions of lives have been affected. You may have lost hundreds to thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars due to this tech virus, and we can't seem to control it, whatever. And they might come out and say, hey, we will replace every one of your dollars and we'll give it back to you in CBDC.
That's it. Do we see what could have happened? Next clip.
I think the scary part of that scenario as well is they're going to execute it utilizing blockchain technology and smart contracts and make it airtight and write algorithms. And we got to forget too.
Blockchain technology? That's exactly what people said.
I think we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new accounting is what we call blockchain.
There it is.
It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens.
Surveillance, monitoring, oppression, slavery. And if you're non-compliant to government draconian policies, do you know what they're going to do? They're going to shut off your access to banking. Very simple. It's very simple. So what if they had the CBDC in the time of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, and you were non-compliant? You would not have been able to transact. That's where all roads lead to Rome. My version, all roads lead to slavery. Now they're telling us they are expecting this in the very near future. Not 2030 or 2040. It may be before that.
Will be, I believe, a parallel move with how quick we're going to see the CBDC thing rolling out. I don't think it's in 10 years. Don't think it's in 5 years. I really think it's a lot sooner than we all.
Yeah. And there's a couple.
And Paulius in the chat writes, the children of the world are wiser than the children of light. I agree. I believe that's Luke 16 and verse 8. Christine writes, God is trying to get our attention and to wake us up. Watch this. Continue.
Wuhan.
Yeah, and they may say, oh, because this is a digital virus, there's nothing we can do. but there is a vaccine, and that is a CBDC, right? And they may say trade, and it might be even thing where like, hey, go to your local bank, or we have an app where you can trade your dollar. You know, put your debit card account number in here, and we'll give you a CBDC wallet for free.
Yeah. And how this will solve the bank run. Watch this.
Is, we forget that, CBDC, this is a primary objective of the Great Reset, right? Like the primary objective of the Great Reset is the appeal is going to be, hey, all your debt's going to be gone, right? All your debt's going to be eliminated, and we're going to have a new globalized digital currency to ensure that, hey, there's no crimes, there's no terrorist attacks. And I mean, even though that they're going to be responsible for it, but I mean,
understand what's going on. Wake up, my friends. And now, in this segment, I always play Catherine Fitz. We are living in a time of a digital concentration camp.
I think it's very hard for people who've grown up and enjoyed Western liberty and human liberty to imagine literally that we're going into a system where literally our homes, our cars, our communities become digital concentration camps.
Whoa. Dwayne in the chat writes, the Jamaican parable, the Jamaican proverbial saying goes, we should take sleep to mark death. All these events are leading to a final showdown. Let us be ready. I agree. We are being surrounded.
And the reality, as the financial system gets more controlling and more invasive, it's a little bit like bringing up a corral around us. And CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and vaccine passports or digital IDs are sort of the last shutting of the gate.
Now, friends, in this next segment, I'm going to go through it very quickly, close off, and then tomorrow, I'll give you part 2 and part 3 of this in the midday service and in the evening service. The points are clear so far. What about bank runs? What about bank runs?
Meanwhile, economist Harry Dent is making a dire prediction about the market next year. He says 2024 is going to bring, and I'm quoting him now, the biggest crash of our lifetime.
Watch this.
The worst in your lifetime. I think 2024 will go down is the single worst year for the stock market in the whole history.
What's coming? Can they roll out a CBDC in light of an economic crisis? Yes. And they're all saying it's coming shortly, coming shortly. And now, what is one of the fears the globalists have? Look at the headline, bank runs. What is one of their fears? Right here in America, Wall Street Journal, they fear bank runs. They fear it. They're saying we need to monitor social media because social media precipitates bank runs when there is an economic crisis. They fear bank runs. Now watch this, friends. Local bank branches are closing. Look at that. At an alarming rate. Why would they be closing the local bank branches? To stop bank runs?
I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do.
Whoa. Listen.
Right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. And it could be an early warning signal.
That's the FDIC in this room. What do they fear? Bank runs? Even the Simpsons talked about this.
What do you mean the bank is out of money? Insolvent? You only have enough cash for the next 3 customers! Hey,
just a second here. No, I don't have your money here. It's in Bill's house and Fred's house.
Hey, what the hell you doing with my money in your house, Fred?
So what do they fear? Bank runs?
Prices, this is similar to what Jay was saying, in the market that you can tell whether people understand who's going to be protected, who isn't going to be protected.
Whoa. So some will be protected and some won't. This may happen on a Friday night.
So that if and when we do have to have that announcement on Friday night, ideally Friday night.
When? On Friday nights. Lastly, they will tell us what is coming. It's going to flip quicker than the housing crisis of 2008. Watch this.
I'd like to go back to some of Dick's early comments. I do think it is hard to get a lot of demand for transparency right now in this sort of period of peacetime. But that is going to flip, and it's going to flip probably even faster than we saw in 2008, where the need for...
My friends, it's going to flip faster than 2008. Do you know what could have happened yesterday with the outage? It could have been all phone services, all internet. You wait until I cover this on tomorrow. Now watch this. Recession has struck. Some of the world's top economies. Look at that. Britain is failing. Japan economy is failing. Look at that. CBDC is coming. UK, Japan. Only tip of iceberg. Watch this now. Headline 18. Yes, 18 other countries risk recession. 18 other. That's February 20th, 2024. And they're telling us what's coming to America. I'll say more on this tomorrow. Jomana writes in the chat, let not your flight be on the Sabbath. That's Matthew 24. Verse 15, verse 14 through verse 21. So one question as I close.
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
Are we ready? If this had happened on yesterday, would we have been ready? Headline says, a coming cyber storm. Everybody, repeat that with me. Those of you in the chat, put those words in the chat. Cyber storm. Is there a storm coming? Matthew 16, verse 3. Hypocrites, why can we not discern the signs of the times when we can discern the face of the sky? Will it rain today? Will it be sunny weather today? Why can we not discern the signs of the times? A storm is coming. Luke 12, 54 through 56. A storm is coming. Am I converted? A storm is coming. Am I practically ready? A storm is coming. Yes, I'm singing the song. Are our feet on the rock of ages? A storm is coming. Not just a cyber storm, but my friend, the Sunday law storm. It's right there. And God's people will find no mercy, no justice. A storm is coming. I'll see you tomorrow by God's grace. We begin at 10 a.m. Eastern. When the sun sets, I say, happy Sabbath. I guess the sun just set, Mr. Producer. So by God's grace, friends, let us share what we have heard today and post below one point that stood out to you. The protest continues.